Welcome back to Robot Wars and the last heat of the series. And tonight, our runner-up from the last wars have returned to make their way through the competition and pick up the trophy. So let's see the battle board and take a look at that competition. The runners-up of the last wars, Tsunami up against Bioluminescent and Peach, new to the war zone, Boomertvert, a new machine from an old team up against Best Dressed Demon and Antsy, and Sub-Zero, the 23rd seed up against Aegis, the newcomers, and veterans, the Almighty Curse. Tsunami Flipper. Runners-up in the last wars after a tough fight against 259, the Flipper only caused them a slight issue last time by getting them stuck on the Watcher after flipping them over. Now the Germans are back with the machine that got them to number 2, and this time hoping to make it to the top of the podium. Bioluminescence Spinner. A quick little bot with a spinning blade which can also be used to punch the opposition. Its speed makes it hard to throw over, and it also makes it hard to strike at the exposed wheels. Peach Spinner. A cute little machine with a vicious cutting blade, the which can also be used to not only fling opponents into the air, but can also help the machine self-right to get back into the action. It's quick and very dangerous, with the only issue being the exposed wheels.
Roboteers, stand by.
Tsunami, the second seed with the Flipper, Bioluminescence with the Drum Puncher, and Peach with the Spinning Blade and Flipping Wedge.
2, 1, activate.
This should be very good. Bioluminescence very quick and already underneath Peach, and things are coming off Peach as well. Tsunami, they're not really able to do much, are they? Bioluminescence very quick across the floor and already slamming Peach, and I've already set them on fire. And now Tsunami with their Flipper, and I think something's happened to the lifting wedge of Peach. I don't think it's working. I don't even think the blade's working. Is the blade working? Not effectively. Tsunami with a little flip, Bioluminescence up and over, and gets Peach out the arena! Now the attack on Tsunami, but look at this! Here's Tsunami, not doing anything, Bioluminescence, they're throwing the puncher backwards, and they've thrown Peach out the arena! That is very interesting. I've never seen an out of the arena like that before. We've seen bots with spinning blades get machines out of the arena. We saw a lot of that back in the last wars. Tsunami driving over the pit of oblivion, good grief. But I've never seen a blade like what Bioluminescence has. And I don't think it's easy for Bioluminescence to get a machine out of the arena anyway. But look at this now. Bioluminescence slamming on the Flipper blade of Tsunami. How will Tsunami deal with Bioluminescence? I don't think they can. Bioluminescence way too quick for them. And I think the second seeds here, the runners-up, are in trouble now across the pit. But Bioluminescence too far over and into the pit. And that is such a shame that it's so well, only to crash out into the Silver Rumble. Sorry, jumping the gun a bit there. But Tsunami just scraping through. And it is such a shame. Bioluminescence well on top, but they're sadly into the silver. Next up, Boomertvert, Best Dressed Demon, and Antsy. Boomertvert Spinner. They competed with Pulverizer last time. They didn't do, well, anything really. Broke down on both its fights and exited the competition very early on. Back with a completely different build with a bigger spinning weapon and low front, yet its machine also has exposed wheels. Best Dressed Demon Control Bot. The inspiration for this machine came from a different machine called Spectre from King of Bots. The clamping jaw is quite effective, and the front wedge lip makes it easier to grab its victims. The team also say that the machine can self-right, but it does struggle to do so. Antsy Flipper. It's actually quite a tiny robot. You wouldn't believe it based on its weight. It's got an advantage of being low, so blades aren't really going to be an issue for it, meaning it'll be able to use the flipper to toss them over, but because of its size, it does mean that it's easily flippable.
Robot ears, stand by.
Vumetvert with the spinning blade, Best Dressed Demon with the clamping jaws, and Antsy, the little machine in the top corner on the left with the flipper.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Now, how will Antsy fare here? We're seeing how Best Dressed Demon's doing, getting flung up into the air, and Antsy, I don't even think they know how to really respond. Vumetvert, Best Dressed Demon getting sent skyward, and Vumetvert definitely doing the damage. The pit's going down. Antsy now on the attack, I think, on Vumetvert. Very brave, and are actually doing very well here to throw Vumetvert up and over. There's a wheel missing from Best Dressed Demon. They can't move. And what's happened here to Antsy? Best Dressed Demon have gone out the arena, so they are gone. Meanwhile, Antsy, I think there's a drive problem for them. What's wrong with Antsy? I think one of the wheels is gone. Vumetvert trying to get underneath Antsy. I'm surprised they're struggling. I'm really surprised they're struggling, actually. But now, underneath, throwing them up and over, and out the arena, and that's it. And down into the back of Vumetvert. Well, why not, eh? Vumetvert, very convincingly though, through to the gold rumble to join the runners-up from the last wars. Pure insanity that. Vumetvert reversing into the pit, but they go through. Next up, Sub-Zero, Aegis, and Almighty Curse. Sub-Zero. Flipper. An impressive start that came to a tragic end in the last wars. They've returned virtually unchanged with their powerful CO2 flipper and exposed wheels, which was what caused them issues after Minotaur and Witch Doctor had to go with them. Hopefully they can avoid that this time around. Aegis. Flipper. A very strong flipper powered by CO2, which also helps prevent machines from getting underneath it from the front. The armor is made from Kevlar 29, making it completely unfazed by the flames, but there is a limited gas supply for the weapon, and the turning circle is not that great. Almighty Curse! Axebot! Rebuilt and recycled from their Tomb of Despair engine from last wars to be harder to get underneath with the side skirts and a front sledgehammer instead of the full flipper setup. Everything else is same in terms of the electronics, but a tougher armor and an exposed rear.
Robot ears, stand by.
Sub-Zero with the flipper, Aegis with their own CO2 powered flipper, and Almighty Curse with the tenderizer weapon.
2, 1, activate.
A very big tenderizer. Looks almost like the weapon from Frenzy. Now, Sub-Zero up and over. I wondered if the side skirts of Almighty Curse would help them, and they have. I'm surprised he just didn't capitalize on a flip, and Sub-Zero will make them pay for that. Up and over. Self-rights. Almighty Curse coming in with their weapon to drop down on Sub-Zero. Doesn't do anything. Aegis now pushing away at Almighty Curse. Sub-Zero throws them both up and over. Throws Almighty Curse up and over again. Now, will Aegis get away? Yes, they will. Now, up and over, and out the arena, and that's Aegis into the bronze rumble immediately. Now, Almighty Curse, Sub-Zero. How will they... Well, down comes the tenderizer again. And is Sub-Zero phased? No, up and over. But Almighty Curse can right themselves, and down goes the pit. But is it too late? Yes, it's irrelevant. Out the arena goes Almighty Curse. They're gone into the Silver Rumble. Sub-Zero once again through to the Gold Rumble. This will be fun. Especially since we're going to have two flippers in the Gold Rumble along with a spinner. I love how it's the left side's all gold. But this is how our three Rumbles look with Peach, Aegis, and Best Dressed Demon in the bronze, Bioluminescence, Anti, and Almighty Curse in the silver, and the runners-up Tsunami up against Vumitvert and 23rd seed Sub-Zero in the gold.
Robot ears, stand by.
Bronze Rumble time with Peach, Best Dressed Demon, and Aegis. Manager of different weapon setups.
2, 3, 1.
We've got a spinner, a control bot, and a flipper. Aegis almost underneath. Peach didn't get the flipper in. They got underneath Best Dressed Demon and threw that up and over. And now Peach underneath Aegis and doing some damage. Down goes the pit, and Peach there. The pit of oblivion, and Aegis right on the edge of it. And I don't think Aegis will be coming back from that. And down into the pit. One nudge from Peach sends them gone. And not the arena. And that's the end of Best Dressed Demon. They're gone. And through to the death or glory goes Peach. A great victory there to do to Best Dressed Demon what Bioluminescence did to them in the preliminaries. Out the arena. A great attack. And Peach, looking at it, it might actually be able to do enough to go all the way. And it should, because that's what did that for them in a previous competition, the Battle of the YouTubers. They actually won that competition, and they've gone through to the Death or Glory here, no surprise. And now it's time for the Silver Rumble with Bioluminescence, Antsy, and Almighty Curse.
Robot ears, stand by.
Bioluminescence with the spinning puncher, the little bot Antsy with the flipper, and Almighty Curse with the gigantic sledgehammer tenderizer, and is the only veteran in this rumble.
3, 2, 1.
Don't forget they had Tomb of Despair in the last wars, and Antsy managing to get underneath the side skirts of Almighty Curse. So, maybe those skirts aren't as useful as we thought. Antsy, are they okay? They were stuck in the wall. Bioluminescence coming in to see what's up. Antsy gets another flip in. Bioluminescence slamming into Almighty Curse, who gets thrown up and over, but they self-right. Now the pit's going down. What caused that to happen? Maybe something flying away and hit the pit. I think that's what's happening here. You can see sparks coming there from the pit release button, and now Almighty Curse nearly in the pit there. That was so close. Antsy are close to going down it. Now Almighty Curse are in the pit. So does Antsy go. And Bioluminescence through to the death or glory. That was insane, and a real surprise for Almighty Curse. They had the experience from last wars. I thought they could have done a bit better this time, but Bioluminescence quashed that, and in all honesty, it's no real surprise. Next up, the Gold Rumble with runners-up Tsunami, Vumitvert, and Sub-Zero.
Robot ears, stand by.
The second seed, Tsunami with the CO2 flipper, Vumitvert with the flywheel, and Sub-Zero, the 23rd seeds, with their own flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
How will this play out? Well, up and over goes Sub-Zero, and they've already lost a tire! The rear tire! And that's gonna cause them major problems! Vumitvert flung, Tsunami flung, Sub-Zero flung. Everyone's getting flung here, and they're all in the corner. Sub-Zero on the attack. There's a tire. I think that's Sub-Zero's tire that's already come off. Vumitvert up and over, and Tsunami's gone at the arena. And there's Rumored Funk. Well, look at this. The flipper wedge is gone from Sub-Zero, but Tsunami went up, and Sub-Zero still caught them. And that is the end for Tsunami. They will be seen again in the Death or Glory. Meanwhile, Rumored seems to be trying to get in a good attack on Sub-Zero. Slams into the side of them. Is Sub-Zero alright? I am not too sure. They reverse into the angle grinder, which, truth be told, doesn't really do anything. It's just there. I don't know why we have it, but we do. Now Rumored catch the lip of the pit. Sub-Zero. I think all Sub-Zero can really do is try and keep the flywheel of Rumored away from them, but there's not much they can really do, especially with the front lip of their flipper gone. So firing their weapon isn't going to do them anything. Rumored, can they get underneath Sub-Zero to do some major damage? I wonder. Who knows? But there is Sub-Zero flipping Rumored, and look at that! Flinging away by their own flywheel. Now Sub-Zero trying to get underneath Rumored again. And so far, although I'd say that damage-wise this would have to go to Rumored, Sub-Zero are still being aggressive. They are not giving up. They are still coming in. Is Rumored all right, I wonder? Is Sub-Zero okay? Yes, they are. So is Rumored. Rumored alright. Sub-Zero more or less alright. I'd have to say, this seems like Rumored's fight to lose. But Sub-Zero is not going to give up. They're not going to give in to defeat. They're not after coming this far. They're still very much trying. And suddenly, Rumored seems to be struggling to get at Sub-Zero. Now, can Rumored get underneath Sub-Zero for a killer shot, I wonder? You know what? Losing that wheel doesn't seem to have done much to Sub-Zero. And I think they haven't just lost one wheel. That might be why they're struggling to drive. I think they've lost two. So that might be why they're struggling to drive. They've lost a tire on both sides. They have. The two rear tires are gone. So they're having to rely on the front drive. That's why they're struggling. That's probably also why they're smoking a bit. You just saw some smoke coming out of Sub-Zero. But to their credit, they're not giving up. Rumored not giving up either. And now, has Sub-Zero ground to a halt? No, have they? I don't know. Rumored, are they okay? Yes, they are. So is Sub-Zero, but they have seriously compromised drive. But they're not relenting. They are still very much fighting to the end. They're not going to have a repeat of what happened before. And now, Sub-Zero pushing in at Rumored, who's no longer moving. And I'm wondering if they've broken down battery power. I think that's what's happened. They've been counted out and immobilized. Sub-Zero! Well done! Just about scraping through to the heat final. And it definitely surprised me. I actually thought Rumored were going to go through, but Sub-Zero lasted a lot longer than them. They're through to the heat final. Rumored, however, joins Tsunami, Peach, and Bioluminescence in the Death or Glory. A last chance saloon to join Sub-Zero in the heat final for that final spot in the series semis.
Roboteers, stand by.
The Death or Glory, Peach Bioluminescence, Vumitvert, and the runners-up, Tsunami.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Surprise, Tsunami is here in the death or glory. The pit's gone down, and Peach being buffeted about by everyone. Bioluminescence sent into the air thanks to Vumitvert, and Bioluminescence again being struck by Vumitvert. Tsunami seems to be spinning around on the spot, not sure what to do. And Bioluminescence. Now Vumitvert's in the pit. Bioluminescence is out of it. They've driven back into the pit. Bioluminescence. Peach is on the attack on Tsunami, who's stuck on an angle grinder. Vumitvert and Bioluminescence are out. Meanwhile, Peach seems to be all over the runners-up of Tsunami. They seem all over them, now being flipped by Tsunami, but is it enough? I don't think so! And a piece of the flipper is gone! So, that spinning blade is causing major damage, but the flipper can still throw Peach up and over! And Peach self-righted and nearly threw themselves into the pit there. But now, what can Tsunami really do here to make sure they stay in the fight? Probably throw Peach up and over, but Peach can self-right, so can Tsunami. Tsunami flung by Peach. This is a really good battle, this. I'm not sure who's more on top. I'd have to say Peach on damage, mainly because Tsunami is having major drive problems, and I think the flipper is being shredded here. Yes, it is. So, it's definitely gonna go Peach's way. This has to be Peach's fight to lose, which is a major surprise, because Tsunami came second in the last series. Spinning around is not really gonna do you any good. Peach again on the attack, and I think that's the end of the flipper. And I think there's even more problems. I think Tsunami is fully out of CO2. Or are they? I don't know. Off comes the front plate to the flipper. Just the name part. So Tsunami still very much in. Yes, they are out of CO2. And Tsunami basically has no weapon, no way of righting themselves. The flipper's now gone. So all parts of the flipper wedge have been shredded, and all that's left is the top part. And that's about it. And now Peach throwing themselves up and over, but also throwing over Tsunami. And Tsunami trying to right themselves, and Peach, I think, are trying to throw Tsunami out of the arena. I don't really think Peach is going to be able to pull that off. Credit where credit's due, though. They are trying. But I really don't think that they'll be able to do anything! But look at that! What's happened here? Tsunami's been spliced! They've been shredded apart here! Look at this! What's happened here? I think we've seen a similar situation before in the Battle of the YouTubers Championships, which Peach won, don't forget. Peach won the entire thing, and we saw High AF come second and do something similar to Mortis. Down goes the flaming husk that is Tsunami, and Peach through to the heat final to face the 23rd seed, Sub-Zero. So, now what? There's this wheel and flipper thingy here. Remnants of Tsunami. And I don't think Tsunami's coming back from that. They're definitely not now. A very vicious victory there for Peach. And they're through to the heat final. Well done. A well and truly fought fight for Peach. As they progress through, they've knocked out the runners-up. That's insane, and they've gone through to join the 23rd seed, Sub-Zero, who are now the only low seed left in the competition. How is this heat final going to go? I'm looking forward to this.
Robot ears, stand by.
Sub-Zero, the 23rd seeds, and the newcomers to the main competition, Peach,
3,
completely obliterated, ranked 2
1.
machine, Tsunami. This is going to be interesting. Now, Peach looking for a good way to attack. Sub-Zero just coming in and has already lost the wheel. So one of the tires is now gone. It's going to affect the drive, but Sub-Zero has that flipper so they can get underneath Peach and throw them up and onto the lights at the end of the arena. They're back now. Interesting. Now, how does Peach plan to survive, I wonder? Can Peach survive? Probably. They survived Tsunami. But is this center of the arena the safe zone? Doesn't matter, they're out! A good flip there from Sub-Zero sends Peach out of the arena. And it's Sub-Zero, seed number 23rd, through to the series semi-finals, our final slot. Well done to them. An extremely impressive display by Sub-Zero, and have shown what they are truly capable of. We saw it in the last wars, and now we are getting a better performance this series. And we hope to see more. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.